In uncovering truth, deceptive words expose guilt and complicity in the initial missing child case that turned into abuse and death of a 13-year-old girl, Maddie Soto.
This is very interesting linguistics here. Shambling, rifling and shambling.
Remember, a lot of words are used like that, guys. Another one that we can't get away from is meandering, right? These words are like they're trying to put those words in there to accentuate the fact that something happened, to let officers know that, no, this really did happen. She meandered her way slowly, looking through her backpack. It's like they're trying to overly convince by using language that nobody else uses, especially while their child is missing. There's no sense of urgency. Stephan has a bigger sense of urgency, in my opinion, than Jenn does. And we know now that he knew everything, obviously, right? Lock this disgusting POS up. I agree.
Over in that direction. Looks the same as any other morning. So do you recognize this pattern? We call this the normal factor. And it's so common in criminal deceptive statements. So we're expected to believe in the rear view mirror that he viewed all of this, the backpack, which we know is sensitive.
Exactly.
The shambling, which is the linguistics of zombie-like mortality. And remember, what's on the top of their mind, or the tip of their tongue, so to speak, is very often leakage. And I believe this is leakage. And I believe this is a sort of leakage as well, although she wasn't murdered with a rifle. Let's go back to the actual body.
And just so you know, and I'm not getting a kickback, but I do admire Deception Detective and what he does. He also has this deck available on iOS and for Apple and well, the other platform that I don't use, the other kind of phone. He has it. He has the deck. You could buy it online in the store. It's really worth it. And it's a lot less expensive. I think it's like $30 versus this that was $79 plus shipping. So if you guys can get one, you should, because I'm looking at it right now and I'm like, wow, it just matches up. Android, thank you. I couldn't think of it because I don't use Android. Android and Apple. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Cam footage.
All right, back to it.
Did she ever go to school?
No, we called school.
She was walking
That's what she's
in that
doing.
direction. She was rifling through her backpack.
Rifling
through
her backpack.
Her headphones before she got her walking on.
Yeah.
But she was just kind of, shambling over in that direction.
Shambling.
Looked the same as any other morning.
Okay.
What was the last thing you asked?
If she had went to school, I think that's what it was.
So I got confirmation from the school that she never made it. They sent me an email saying she didn't make it. But I also spoke to her or emailed one of her teachers directly, and he looked at all her attendance for all her periods.
Again, guys, she didn't make it. We should literally have a shirt that says she didn't make it, ... Who says that about their missing child that's now been gone all day, all morning, no leads, no phone? She didn't make it. And another thing I want you to realize, when he puts the linguistics back up there, he puts the Veriscope analyzer up, the temporal lacuna is so real and so rough in this case. What that is words such as after, then, while, when, and within X amount of time indicates your leap through time. Like, hola, and then I woke up, my baby was gone, the kidnappers were gone. Liars often use these terms to omit incriminating parts of a story. And this, it's 100 times. It's in there 100 times. After, then, while, when, and then they indicate an amount of time. It's outrageous. It's absolutely outrageous.
Make it at all today.
Okay, so the make it phraseology.
Yeah.
Let's look at her linguistics in detail. Jenn says, I think black shorts, possibly black shorts and white Crocs or socks. Officer, what was the last time you saw her? Around 8:30, 8:40 when we dropped her off. Weight, 110 pounds. Hair color, blonde like a dirty blonde. Officer, eye color, blue. Does she have any markings, like any scars or anything? A distinctive beauty mark on her face, near the nose. It's very distinctive. You'd know it if you saw it.
Yeah, this part I don't like at all. It bothers me the way that they finish each other's sentences and answer the questions. But yeah, they more than comforting. I like that, Deb, that you said it's not comforting each other. They were holding each other and all right by each other to collaborate the story, but they were doing it as a way to reinforce that they stick to that story. All right, because they do stick to the story. And same thing when Jenn Soto was on the news, where Stephan was cracking his knuckles behind her nervously. They both want to ensure, and him at that time, I was like, whoa, people were thinking he intimidated her. No, they were just making sure that they stuck to the same script. He was behind her. Many times he was next to her and she was holding him, looking like she was comforting him, but really she was trying to shield him, in my opinion, from being arrested. She was trying to shield him from saying something stupid where they can say, well, you were the last person. She did that the entire time. Why doesn't speak of what Jenn knows? Well, we're talking about that, Shy Turtle. I think you rolled in late. He absolutely is already doing that right now. And we've talked to law enforcement to get a hold of him. So, yes, I think you missed the beginning of the show and maybe the last episode or two.
Sterns.
Oh, my goodness.
And then we go on with the phone call with the principal. But let's have a look at the we impossibility in more detail.
Hey, remember that? Back his knuckles.
What was the last time you saw her? Sterns. Around 8:30 to 8:40 when we dropped her off. So Sterns uses the we for the drop-off. Jennifer claims she was in bed during the drop-off. We know this from a later interview.
She claims she was in
And
bed.
obviously one cannot be present or absent. Both present and absent, rather.
Right.
And this unity language, which we've seen and we've identified before, this psychological togetherness, the complicity, is being demonstrated by the we pronoun and said in front of Jenn, which indicates to me that the prior planning was that they were both supposed to stick to that story.
Thank you again, Nat. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
The Sterns' impossible visual details. She was walking in that direction. She was rifling through her backpack, just looking for something. I thought maybe she was just, remember this is important for us, looking for headphones before she got to walking on. But she was just kind of, ruins his statement, shambling over in that direction. So claims he drove away after dropping her off, describes the detail.
Now, this is good to take a look at, even if we know where Stephan is. He's already been convicted, 21 life sentences, but it just shows what he's talking about, what he knows, and the fact that this is also backed up by Jenn Soto, and in her own words, the whole scripting. So what we're talking about with him applies to the deception and the alibi that Jenn Soto is trying to provide in all of these interviews.
Observations in the rear view mirror, sees her looking for headphones, watches her shambling in a particular direction. And these observations require extended visual contact. In other words, it's fabrication. It didn't happen. And it's impossible if he immediately drove away as he claimed. He can't have it both ways. And this is the problem with fabrication. These errors are made. And when they're looked at slowly and in detail, although not obvious at first, it reveals it all. It does reveal.
Now, real quickly, they were intimate as far as we know, but Jenn claims that they were not intimate together for the last couple of years. So, I mean, I don't even want to think about that. That's horrifying to think about all of them being intimate, Jenn being intimate with Stephan, and then what was happening with Maddie, and then what was happening. It's just, I don't even want to think about it. But no, it wasn't just Maddie. I know they had some kind of relationship initially. Montana Mystic says, please shout out Nissa, 96 years old today. I've started a Guilty of Crime club at her facility. Got 20 people watching. Thank you. And shout out to you, Nissa. Happy birthday. Very happy birthday to you. Everybody give her a happy birthday. All right.
That this is fabrication. And it's a fabrication that Jennifer Soto is going along with. And we're finding indications and evidence, linguistic evidence, that she's involved in the cover-up, in my opinion. The shambling word. Yes, this really is concerning, and I think leakage. It is an unusual word to describe a child walking. You know, it's that zombie or Walking Dead.
And remember, when people use some overly descriptive word, one that you might say, I don't hear that very often. It's usually somebody trying to sell you something, right? They're trying to sell you a story or sell you an idea by using words like that. He's the same person that said meandering when he was in the interview room where he fell asleep for hours and they came back in. Yeah, she just meandered on over. She was looking in her backpack for headphones. But then he also says he drove right away. And then Jenn says later on that Maddie got out of the car and crossed the parking lot, whatever, overly descriptive, but she wasn't even there. It doesn't make sense. If it doesn't make sense, it's a lie.
Imagery. Unconscious leakage.
It's like rambunctious.
If we go into detail about Jennifer's, do you remember, we've just gone over it. I, possibly, I don't know. And we have 7 hesitation markers. And what's really happening inside her mind is the enormous stress of managing the narratives, the truth, the suppression of the truth, and the fabrication. And even worse, because there's 2 of them, they have to manage each other, the plan, and they have to manage what you're thinking of them as they deliver it. And this causes an overload, a computing overload in effect. And so we get this very strange pattern, which we start to hear, or like an accent instinctively after.
You guys, please do me a favor and thank Nath. I appreciate it so much for supporting the channel, and I'm glad that we're looking into this, the black shorts and white Crocs or socks. We're gonna talk about the clothing that Jenn can't seem to remember, and then at one point completely remembers, where she even tells Stephan, "Be quiet, I know." She like brushes him off.